Switching computers real quick. There may be an echo here in a second. Let's see if we come back. Mr. Dumpy, yes, the big freeze. Boom. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not because I still don't have a screen. So I'm going to shut everything down. I'm going to leave the show live. I'm going to shut everything down one at a time, come back in, and then we'll get this thing started. Okay, it sounds like you guys can hear me though. I just don't know what mic you're picking me up on. Okay, let's see if we're spinning. Do we have a spinning engine in front of you? That's it. See, all right. Finally. We have audio. We have audio. We have a spinning engine. We're sharing. Let's see how this works. Okay. We'll find out. If my audio drops, that means I'm picking up on the computer and not on the phone. So just let me know. But here we are. So Extra Car Parts, thank you guys for your patience. Shout out to Josh for the Mr. Dumpy, thanks for joining. Let me know if you guys are interested in karting or motorsports in general. Today, I'll probably run a few auctions depending on how everything goes, but it's really just to expose people to my channel and what I do with Extra Kart Parts. So as you can see in front of you, we have the Honda CR 125 engine, and we adapted that to karting applications. I did mention that a little bit earlier, but I don't know it came through on audio. What's up, Jack? Thanks for joining. So hopefully this is streaming over to the social channels. We're going to pick up some more buyers, but we at least have the camera working and we have the audio. I'm assuming from the phone, but we'll check it out here in a minute. So yeah, engines. So if there's something you're interested in knowing about, let me know. If I need to run an auction, let me know. If it's something, if you're a karter and I'm not showing you stuff you're interested in, let me know. And I'm just going to keep repeating that same thing over and over until we start building up the community and selling some parts. A-Train, thanks for joining. So let's see here. Honda CR125. I got a bunch of parts for these things. I have cylinders, heads, exhaust manifolds, a couple of older ignitions like 1983 to sorry, 1993 to 1997 ignitions I have, carburetors, engine mounts, exhaust mounts, running pretty low on the 99 CDI box. I've been keeping some of those aside for new engines. But yeah, Honda CR125. And then, I don't know, if you're a person interested in motorsports, then you probably like carbon fiber. So that's carbon fiber. This is one of the exhaust mufflers. Um, I'm being careful with my words. Errol, thanks for joining. Because there's one of those payment platforms. I call this a silencer. And they put a freeze on my payment because I called this a silencer. So even though we call them silencers or muffler, the muffler is kind of a more of a generic name for them. But if there's anything you see that you're interested in bidding on, just say, hey, run an auction and we'll do it. But on my site, these retail for $140. The ID where the exhaust pipe mounts. But yeah, Alto, very reputable brand out of Italy. The sound, the Italian sound, Alto. We also have decal kits for the Esprit chassis made by OTK. That's for the Mini or the Cadet chassis. These are for full-size chassis. We also have Red Speed. And if you guys are following me on some other channels, right now I don't have access to the comments. So jump on over to Whatnot and sign up. I even have a buyer referral. If you're looking at doing a purchase, I have a credit buyer referral here on Whatnot. Let's see here. Let's take a walk through the shop. What kind of shop would not be complete without a fridge and adult beverages? So kind of on the wagon right now. Don't drink during the week, but whatever. But fridge, adult beverages. So if you ever want to stop by the shop in Northern California, let me know. My smart ass remark is, if you're not spending any money, bring a nice bottle of tequila. If you're spending $200, the shot's on us. But do we still have audio? Mr. Dumpy, yeah, that was. Let's see here. Hey, Sue, thanks for joining. We still have audio. So my buddy Walter, he acquired this fridge and he wasn't using it. He goes, yeah, that'd be perfect in the shop. And I was like, we don't really have a shop fridge. So there we go, shop fridge. And we're building up the alcohol collection a little bit. Again, I'm a big tequila guy. So yeah, I like my tequila. If you haven't had the El Macho, that came in from Trader Joe's. I think the price point is right around $30, and I've had worse tasting $40 or $50 bottles. So that one was pretty good. Corrado, that one was unique. That was if you're a tequila guy, definitely try to find a bottle of that because it has a very earthy flavor, almost a combination of mezcal and tequila, but smoother than mezcal. I mean, it was good. Let's see. All right, we're going to go. Let's go look at some carts. I know Josh is waiting for some carts here. And the reason I'm putting my logo out in front is I'm walking through the shop, and you probably don't need to see tools and parts and everything spread out kind of in a randomized order. But one of the carts that just came in, this one here, this is a CRG California chassis. It's going to look a little bit dirty and hammered. It just came into the shop. I'm probably going to part this one out. As it sits, I would let it go for $600. And again, I'm based out of the Sacramento area, but there we go. CMC, thanks for joining. Noni, thanks for joining. And I might butcher your names. I'm kind of known for that. But yeah, $600 as is. It's not a complete roller, but it needs parts. So the left front brake caliper, it's here. Um, the right caliper is missing. The rear brake caliper is missing. This would really be more of a project cart for somebody that's pretty mechanical, understands karting, and kind of knows where to source the parts. This would be great for a local guy that's going to put on one of our local tracks or their local track. It doesn't matter. But this was originally built for a shifter engine, very similar to what I had showing a few minutes ago. So you have the shift lever here, not that. You have a shift lever here, then you have the shift rod that goes back to the engine. Most of our shifters are 6-speed gearboxes. So sequential gearboxes, first gear, neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. But yeah, as is $600. But it's missing parts. So the spindles are complete. It has calipers on the right side, left side, missing the right side caliper, missing the rear caliper. Again, this would be a great project cart. If I was a little bit more motivated to pick up projects, I would probably put my daughter on this one. She's 13, and have her start working on it to build herself up a shifter. But what I originally bought her, recently at least, was this cart. So this is a Charles Leclerc chassis built by Burrell Art. So this one's a little bit smaller. Let me get rid of the bodywork here. And again, anything in these videos that you see is for sale. There we go. As you can tell, my pre-show prep wasn't very good because I was actually expecting to be working off-site today. And plans changed a little bit. It's like, you know what? I need to get on Whatnot and build that community, build up my followers. But here is a cadet chassis. The wheelbase is a little bit smaller. So wheelbase, front wheel to rear wheel, center to center. This one here did not have a shifter on it. This one had a 80cc single speed engine originally. So yeah, again, that was this is my daughter's cart, but I'm probably going to sell it just because at this point she might be a little bit too tall for it. And honestly, she hasn't put any effort into building it. Josh, well, it's pretty cool. I never got into them. We just rode old go-karts, nothing like that. My boss and his son raced them a lot. Yeah, where are you from, Josh? What part of the country? It's a great sport. And, you know, I have a lot of friends that run professional race teams at the national level. And Kentucky, yep. You know, they race a lot of national level events, and they focus on using karting as a training ground to move up through motorsports. My focus is a lot different. I want to retain people at the local level and bring them out to our local tracks because the local tracks just aren't promoted well enough, in my opinion. And there's some great drivers at the local level that maybe don't have the budget to go race at the big races. But I mean, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, if you have any questions, you know, let me know. Give my page a follow. I'll be doing more and more of these shows as I get more and more comfortable with the Whatnot application. Let's see here. So yeah, that's a cadet. So as you can see, no suspension right here. There's no suspension on the cart. The rear axle, we call it a live axle or a solid axle, meaning there's no differential. It's one solid piece of tube all the way through the cart. Hendricks Motorsports School. Nice. I need to look that one up, get a little bit more information on that. This cart here, this is for you and me, Josh. This one here, that Honda I showed you, this is what it looks like on a cart. So same engine, but mounted to a cart. This one here, I have a couple of hours of prep work to do to get this thing ready to go hit the track, but front brakes. So the 125 shifters have front brakes. All the other classes are just rear brake only. The wires are hanging down here because I removed the data unit from the steering wheel. But this one here, it's a Luminos chassis. So Luminos is Italian made by a company called GP, and it's imported into California. My buddy actually imports them into the Sonoma racetrack, and Luminos. That's that chassis brand, very successful brand out here on the West Coast. So you have the fuel pump, carburetor, the engine itself, exhaust. So as you can see, the exhaust is different than motorcycles. These are custom exhausts built specifically for karting. However, this particular one is a spec exhaust, meaning this engine package has to run that exhaust. So custom to karting, but not a custom pipe for this exact kart. Let's see here. We got the rear. And this one, I'm going to get it fired up. I'm going to actually go put some laps in on this one. There's the rear brake. This also has a live axle, much larger than the cadet kart I just showed you. This 50 mil axle. The other one was a 40 mil axle. Or I'm sorry, that's a 30 mil axle. And then we have the carbon fiber bearing. So they use this for road racing when these guys get on the track. Let's see here. We'll take a look. Exhaust. So for the rear end, you can change. There are sprockets. Yes, for each track, there's different. On the shifters, we'll change the drive and driven sprockets depending on the tracks. And even then, on the weekend, if the grip levels start changing or other big change, rain or something like that, we'll change the sprockets. But there's the chain, there's your sprocket. So on the shifters, they're pretty easy to change. 2 bolts on the rear. Drop the bolts, the sprocket comes off the axle, clamps directly to the axle. And then you have the front sprocket held on by a clip. Knock the clip off and you change it. So each track is going to be a little bit different. This one here is geared for about 110 miles an hour. So for your big tracks, Laguna Seca, Sonoma Raceway, Daytona, the Grand Prix track at Daytona. So that's how this one's set up. But normally we're gearing these particular karts to target anywhere between 75 and 85 miles an hour. Miscellaneous exhausts. Once again, anything you see is for sale. This actually has a pretty good blurring effect. Steering wheels just came in. Tony Kart steering wheels. Used. Tony Kart used. I'll probably let these go for $60 plus shipping. Webgone, thanks for joining. Tuning in to Motorsports. So give my page a follow. Help me grow this motorsports section here on Whatnot. Steering wheels. Everything you see is for sale. Cosmic. As you can see in my background, I have a bunch of totes. So Briggs 206 engine parts, driving suits, helmets, collars, air boxes, water pumps, all kinds of stuff. Let's see here. Now here's one of the carts without the bodywork on the side. So I showed you earlier the shifter stuff. This one here is a Burrell Art chassis. Burrell Art. Briggs and Stratton engine, single speed. I don't know, depending on who you ask. 8 to 12 horsepower. Everyone's going to lie about their horsepower numbers. But this is the biggest and most popular class at the local karting level. Briggs and Stratton, the 206 stands for 206 cc. Single speed. The other engines I showed you were 6 speeds. This one's a single speed. Little bit different setup here where you have a much smaller chain. This one's running a 219 chain. The clutch is on the outside, centrifugal clutch like most of your common yard carts. And then you have the sprocket here. So on this class, we generally change just the rear sprocket for changing it. And then, if you guys like hardware, DRS 916. Is that who I think it is? Give me a thumbs up if that's who I think it is. Kimberly Smith, thanks for joining. Just going through the shop here, giving everyone an idea of what Extra Kart Parts does. Growing our followers, so give me a follow if motorsports and karting in general is any interest to you. But hardware, one of these days, I can even do the show now. If one of you if you're interested in hardware, let me know, because I can just hit the auction button and start auctioning off hardware. But we probably need enough people to make it worthwhile for everybody. But karting hardware, nuts, bolts, conical washers. Let's see here. Get one that has good contrast. So bear with me for a second. Yeah, I know I'm doing the show a little bit differently today because I'm really just in the process of growing my following. And there we go. Okay, so conical washers. Flat on one side, concave, so you can have a countersunk bolt flush mount. It's a little bit nicer on the body or the ribs. So you get the bolt, spreads the load out on the seat so you don't break the seats. But yeah, conical washers. And actually, what I'm going to actually start doing as well. Patriot, thanks for joining. I'm going to start doing just live shows on this channel and a couple of other channels where I'm actually just sorting everything. And if someone's interested in whatever I'm sorting, to drop me a message or a thumbs up, and we'll start boxing the stuff up. So, for example, if you're interested in plastic conical seat washers and the flat washers that go with them, I'll just start the auction or start the bid, and we'll just start. Time for hardware kits. 100% DRS. 100%. I mean, that whole section is going to be hardware kits. I didn't plan today's show out very well. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't supposed to be here today. I was supposed to be working remotely, and I completely forgot that Whatnot was doing this huge warehouse blowout promotion over the weekend, and just had stuff on my mind going on, and I forgot to schedule it and get stuff organized. But 100%, I am going to be doing hardware shows in the future. I'm just building up my follow list, but we will have hardware shows where we'll have, like seat mounting kits. Because a lot of this stuff, yeah, the nuts and the washers, you can find that at hardware stores. I guarantee you my price is going to be way cheaper because I buy them in huge bulk. But save the time to a hardware store. But look at that big fender washer. That's aluminum. Big aluminum fender washer. You're not finding that at your local hardware store. And these are critical when you're mounting new seats. It helps spread the load out, but also from a safety standpoint, you don't want a seat strut breaking through the seats and impaling the driver. So, yeah, we will definitely have hardware shows going on. Like I said, I can run one live now if I have a couple of people interested. Or just send me a message, say, hey, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that. If you're on the other channels, I can't see those right now. So jump over to Whatnot, follow me on Whatnot, because I can't see the other channels right now. I'm strictly on the how many of these do I have? Tillotson DG5HL diaphragm kits. Let's see, there's 10. There's 10 there. Diaphragm kits. 20. This is actually, I need to double check that I even have these posted online. Brand new Tillotson DG5HL diaphragm kits. I just gave myself some homework while I'm going through all this. This whole box is Tillotson. This whole box. Miscellaneous hardware. Let's see here. Got to decline that call. That's the other thing I need to work on. How to block calls when I'm on a live stream. What else we got? Tillotson intake gaskets for the 395 Tillotson carb. So that's a popular carburetor used on the PRD engines and other things. So Tillotson's gaskets, parts. I have low speed needles, high speed needles. I have brackets. I have springs. I know I have all this stuff posted online. I'm actually wondering. I need to take a couple of these. This will be my reminder to double check that these are actually posted online because there's a whole box of Tillotson stuff. Jay Shaw, thanks for joining. K-Ron, thanks for joining. No, Kuran? Thanks for joining. I love the usernames on Whatnot. I'm always wondering, what's their real name? Is that the real name? So I need to put those in my pocket. But yeah, there would definitely be a hardware show. Countersunk bolts, socket head, pretty much all metric. I want to show you a real mess right behind me. That's my American shelf because I don't usually do too much in American. If I do, it's usually working on a fence or something. So I throw all my American hardware on that red rolling cart. Cool fiber, carbon fiber brake scoop. So we mount these to the carts, direct some air into the braking systems. So make sure you take the time to give the show a follow or the page a follow. I would appreciate that. I'm growing the followers here. Let's see what else we got. Radiators, sprockets, 50 mil sprockets. which I need to move that to my actual slot area. That is a radiator and an ignition setup for an IAME X30. I have running a complete engine mount, radiator, water pump pulleys, IAME X30. How about them carts for sale that are growing like rabbits? Yeah, I will sell you carts. Let's see. Exhaust silencers. Let's see here. Highest bidder. Let's go. Let's sell some carts here. Boom. I mean, that's one of the most beautiful carts ever out there. Highest bidder. So for those who don't know, that's a CTS chassis. And that just, isn't that just nemesing looking? Like if you showed up to a track with, I don't know, another CTS. I'm trying, I don't even, oh, you know what? I'll go get my old cart. Here, let's do this. A. Or B. B. Sup, Jimmy? B. Or A. When you show up to the track, which one do you want to be in? A. Or B? I know my answer. This is my personal cart. Right there. Has a Honda CR80 on it. I'm going to get it together and go hit the local NorCal tracks. That's my personal cart. The reason I rebought this cart was it was a chassis I had a lot of success with, MBA chassis, Montermini model. Everywhere I went, it was very, very, very competitive. Love that chassis. I also had, and this is not my cart, by the way, a CTS. I had the CTS chassis brand before I had the MBA, and just look how beautiful that is. I mean, that just looks, to me, if I rolled up to the track in my personal cart, the one I just showed you, B, and someone rolled up in one of these, I just want to pack up and go home and go, I can't beat that guy. Because this one just looks nemesing. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. And one of these days, I'm going to do a CTS video on the little nuances of the CTS chassis and how pretty they are. And how well constructed they are. But yeah. And I'm not crapping on the NBA stuff because I had probably my most success in a kart was in an NBA. But from all the European karts had the plastic bodywork. They all had the plastic fairings. They all had the bread box style side pods. And it's like when they first came out, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But there was nothing unique or cool about it because all the manufacturers had it. But you look at the CTS stuff, carbon fiber fairing, custom paint jobs. This wasn't the design from CTS. This was one of their customers that did a custom paint job. And then you have the side pods. And just a sleek, beautiful cart. They were fast, not sexy. I feel like this guy's describing me. Let's see here. What else we got? I already did the exhaust. I did tires. If you're in NorCal and you need tires. Oh, I can ship too. I do daily shipping. Let's see here. Used tires galore. And some new tires, but primarily used tires. Seats. Mediums and smaller. Got seats. So if there is something you are looking for, let me know. Again, warehouse blowout here on Whatnot. Spark plugs. Spark plugs and spark plug caps. What else? Organizing. That's kind of why I'm doing this video anyhow. Dennis, thanks for joining. Are you interested in karting or motorsports? Let's see what else we got going on here. Actually, I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Need a Briggs lower end. Catch cans. Chain guards. Old school CRG rims. Can you tell I'm organizing all my spindles? Bunch of different spindles here. Brakes, brake rotors. Miscellaneous hoses. One of my favorite boxes. Goes the dynamite. Oh, you know what? That's not my favorite box. I just had these in the wrong spot. That's all it was. Those blue spindles, are they CTS or old high rev? I'm going to go with old high rev or top cart. And it looks like they might actually have been red originally. But there's a couple layers of paint on those. 8mm bearing. 8mm bearing there. 17mm spindle. Part of me wants to say top cart, but again, it's got red and blue. Are you interested, Mr. DRS? Oh, if they were CTS, you'd buy them in a heartbeat. Yeah, they're CTS. Let's see. All this stuff is already online. Sprockets from size 53 all the way up to 85. No. Engine mounts. Rotax engine mounts. KT100 engine mounts. Those are Briggs engine mounts. Universal engine mounts. .219 sprockets. Lots of them. Let's see. Axles. Primarily 50 mil axles, some 40s. Axles. For my Briggs friends out there, let's see. Carburetors for the Briggs out there. Walbro and aftermarket, or the Briggs carburetor, whatever they call it. Coils. Lots of stuff here at Extra Kart Parts. Brackets, Nerf bars. Julia, thanks for joining. If you're a fan of motorsports or karting, give my page a follow. Or hardware. Got some hardware. We'll be doing some hardware shows in the future. The other thing is, again, I'm really just growing the channel and trying to find the best times to broadcast. Because a lot of people are working during this time. I probably just need to start coming in at night and getting all this stuff done. I call this my Track Magic box. Track Magic hardware. But kind of a miscellaneous of parts that are commonly used on the older Track Magic carts. You want to look inside of a Briggs engine? And again, if you're on the other channels, if you're not on Whatnot, jump over to Whatnot and start following. So that's the inside of a Briggs engine right there. If you're wondering why I have a Briggs engine open, it's because the outer seal was bad and I had to replace the gasket. And this one's probably going to go on my daughter's cart at some point when she comes back into the shop to help. But she's the one that actually started pulling everything apart, teaching her how to scrape a gasket off the cases without damaging the cases. And yeah, so she got the cover and everything off all by herself. I did have to help her with the clutch screws, the clutch cover screws. So there's some screws. I don't want to touch the greasiness because I have my phone, but the screws that were in this hole were damaged. So I had to teach her how to use a manual impact. What do they call it? Hammer impact. And I don't even know if that's what it's called. That's what I called it. But you hit it and it tightens or loosens. So I taught her how to use that, and she got the side cover case off. Pretty simple engine, really. Got the inside. Got the crankshaft. Got the rod. Got the little splasher fingers. I don't know what they call it, but normally there's going to be oil up to about there. And then the rod spins around. That little thing flips the oil up, helps keep everything all lubricated. Fun stuff. So again, if you're on the other channels, you're watching this, jump over to Whatnot, hit like and follow. You also get a referral discount. So if you use one of my links, you'll get a referral discount in your first purchase from my store. But other than that, I am going to sign off. Again, if you saw something that interested you, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off.